All right. Well, my clock says 4:32, the 4:31. So we're going to go ahead and get started because we know your time is valuable. Welcome to Travel Tips for Adoptive and Foster Families. So we know you're a busy mom juggling lots of challenges, maybe lots of kiddos. So our goal for these webinars is to really just give you information that's really useful that you can actually use in the shortest amount of time possible. Hopefully in the amount of time it takes for your child, and under the amount of time it takes for your child to watch a Netflix show or get bored with a Netflix show. So welcome, we're so glad you're here. So Lisa, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What is so hard about travel, do you think, for our kids?
I think the unpredictable nature of it, that we can't control the environment as much as we usually can at home.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically all the transitions, all the unknowns make travel and vacations really challenging for kids from hard places. And so hard places just means that they've had either multiple caregivers, a traumatic birth, stressors during pregnancy, abuse, neglect, other traumas. So all of these things affect the way that our kids experience and see the world. And they really like predictability and routine. And so, of course, traveling really shakes that whole situation up. So the good news is that you can reduce the stress and the chance for just an utter meltdown or ruined vacation with just a little bit of planning and intentionality. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. Okay, so for a lot of situations, travel included, planning ahead is the key to success. And so before you go, we would recommend, one, have as much knowledge of where you're going as possible. So that means if you're traveling by car, know where all the family-friendly rest areas are. Those are like the cleanest ones, or the ones with a little grass area where you can run around. Know where the family-friendly restaurants are and parks along your route, so that in good weather especially you can picnic, take those breaks to get out and stretch your legs. Food packed in advance is a really great option because you get to control it. If eating out can sometimes set our kids off because of all the stuff that's in food that we buy on the go. So, and also if you have food packed in your car, you'll be able to give it to them as they need it, which you can't always do if you're relying on food at restaurants or other things. So I know you have to stop in your restaurant sometimes, but if you have some like emergency snacks, if you get stuck in traffic or someone starts to melt down, you'll have some food to help mitigate all of that. If you're flying, being prepared ahead of time might look like knowing the airport, knowing where all the bathrooms are, knowing where the kid-friendly restaurants are, and some airports actually have play areas now, so kind of like those mall play areas. So find out if the airports that you're going to be traveling through have those, because you certainly want to take advantage of those. Number two, pack a separate bag for each child. They get to be responsible for it. It kind of gives them a sense of purpose. They're also going to carry it into the hotel that you're going to or through the airport. So this also means that you'll have a couple less things to carry, so everyone can try to be responsible for their own things. Of course, know your kids. For some kids who really struggle with responsibility or, maybe losing things, this might not be a phenomenal, you might want to have an extra pair of clothes in your suitcase for your kid, but they might enjoy just wheeling something around, even if if it gets lost, it's not the end of the world. And then lastly, be flexible and have realistic expectations. If you take nothing else away from our time today, just remember this about the flexibility and realistic expectations. Travel is really hard work for our kids who need those predictable routines and familiar home environment. And our kids who have experienced trauma, this break in routine is just so unsettling. So just, G.I. Joe says, knowing's half the battle. So they're going to be hyper vigilant, over alert, constantly looking for danger. And that anxiety heightened anxiety is going to make them trigger to challenging behaviors very, very quickly. So just extend a little grace, set the bar low. You can't change how your kids are going to behave or react on your trip or in a certain situation, but you can certainly be prepared mentally for it, which a lot of times can mean all the difference in the world. In the same vein, setting our kids up for success, these are just some ideas that support our kids physically and the environment around them proactively, just to give them the best chance of success while you're traveling. So, 1, snacks and water. We talked a little bit about this already. Foods high in protein and healthy fats, such as cheese sticks, nut butter balls, are really perfect for keeping blood sugar regulated. And a smaller, cooler bag will help keep everything fresh on longer trips, especially if you're on a long road trip. And then, of course, water is essential for everyone. You can make this really fun by maybe going out and buying new color-coded water bottles for all your kids before you head out. Number 2, a seating chart. So create a seating chart for the car or even the plane ride. Gives you time to consider how to kind of best meet everyone's needs, kind of navigate all of those dynamics and prevent, extra stress. You know your kids well, you know who gets along easily, who doesn't. Try to put a little space between those kids who tend to have conflict and extra arguments. Older kids can be invited to help with this process, give them ownership in it, so that they're a little bit more compliant maybe at following it. Post a visual, post it a couple days before you go, print it out, put it on your refrigerator, and then, we travel with a 15-passenger van. It's like 4 extra rows. So when in doubt, rent a van where you can put everyone in their own row. It might be worth the extra money. I don't know. Regular breaks, we talked about kind of knowing where to take regular breaks, but bathroom breaks are really important for everyone, especially kids who might struggle with bladder control or maybe even use that as a way to exert control when they feel like they don't have any. So you can be proactive about that. Activity breaks are really great. Running short races with your kids, doing chair push-ups or some sensory things are really helpful. So speaking of sensory things, all kids have needs for sensory stimulation, and they also may need breaks from excessive sensory input if they're sensory averse. So kids from hard places are really sensitive to all of these different challenges. So it might be good to have a sensory bag that could include things like gum, really big pieces of bubble yum or double bubble or whatever, fidget toys, noise canceling earplugs or headphones, a weighted lap pad or blanket, any of those things that are kind of go-to sensory things that might help calm your child. All of those things that provide what we call proprioceptive input, or like deep pressure, like a weighted something, are really calming, which is why gum is calming, because it gives that pressure to the teeth. Sleep. We all know that sleep is really important, but it can also be super elusive on vacation. But as much as possible, maintain your child's sleep routine, even when you're traveling. Bring whatever you can that's familiar, a familiar blanket, with all the familiar smells, a sound machine. If you have a special bedtime story, make sure that you remember to pack that. I'm a huge fan of essential oils for traveling. They can really help manage stress and help you get a restful sleep, even if you're sleeping in a different place. Plus, they can also help you manage car sickness, which hopefully none of you guys are experiencing, but it might be a thing for your kids. And then lastly, choose a hotel with pool and breakfast. So, this is just all in the name of making your life easier. A pool is a great outlet for kids to run all that energy off, and it's a great sensory activity. It's a great connecting activity. You can jump in there with them, and then it's always great in the morning if you get up and have food right there at your hotel, and you don't have to prepare it or pay extra for it. All right, Lisa, what can we do to connect?
Mhm. Well, travel is actually a really important time for connecting because we want to help our kids feel as safe as possible. Connecting strategies strengthen and deepen the connection between you and your child, which helps them feel safer in new situations and also decreases challenging behaviors. So, what better time than vacation to practice all of the things that you already know and maybe explore some new things as well? So one of the ways that we build connection with our kids is through playful engagement. And there are lots of opportunities for that while you're on vacation, but even when you're traveling in the car or on the plane. So one of the first things, number one, is car games. You know, long before we had DVD players in cars and things, we played games and we sang songs while we were traveling. There are lots of examples of different car games like alphabet scavenger hunts, also hunting for license plates from different states. So we have a download for you that you can download after you watch this, and it has a link to a website with a number of different car games for you. Number two is surprises. Kids love the unexpected when it's happy. They don't like the unexpected when it's not so happy. But wrapping up small little trinkets for them that they can open at regular intervals. It could be every 100 miles on a road trip or every hour on the plane or on a shorter trip, however you want to do it. If they know that the next surprise is coming at a certain interval, I think it maintains some happy excitement. These can be really small things like packs of gum, like Melissa mentioned, that deep pressure in the jaw joint is calming. So even if you don't love gum, it is a good tool for travel. Little fidget toys to keep their hands busy. And also, it could be, if you have a vehicle that has a DVD player, it could be a new movie that they would enjoy or a new audiobook that you can all listen to together. So the options are endless, but little wrap trinkets that they can open at regular intervals are a lot of fun. A third idea, number three, is to give everybody their own map and a marker so that they can track the trip as you travel and literally just write on the map as you go and have a lot of fun looking ahead to what's coming next. Maybe you could even have older kids could circle where you're going to be stopping so they could anticipate those stops as well. Number four, audiobooks. Our family loves to listen to audiobooks or radio theater kinds of stories while you're traveling. Some of this might be listening as a family, or sometimes kids would want to listen to their own story with headphones. And for kids who have sensory aversion and just get a little overwhelmed in the car, having their own story playing for them in their headphones is a really good idea. Number five is postcards to friends. So you could plan ahead and have addresses and stamps for your kids' friends. And when you stop, even if it's at a gas station or someplace to go to the bathroom, you can have them pick out some postcards and then write short, simple messages and mail them to their friends. That's a really fun activity to do. And then number six, of course, Melissa mentioned too, is swimming. If you're staying at a hotel with a pool, you know, in your regular day-to-day life, you might not normally get in the pool and swim with your kids, but vacation is a perfect time to do that, and it's good for you as well as for your kids. Another connecting strategy is mindfulness. We have to be mindful, both of our kids and ourselves. So first of all, pay attention to yourself. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you making sure that you're eating and you're hydrating and staying as calm as you can? Are you taking care of yourself? And then, you know, pay attention to your child. Really observe them. Be curious about how they're doing. Remember to watch to see, do they seem to be staying calm? What's working for them? What's not working for them? What can you do to catch potential problems before they start? Like, would handing your child a piece of gum or a snack keep a situation calm where it could go badly otherwise? And I think it's really important to be very flexible with your plans. If your child can't manage things, just cut them out, and that's okay. And lastly, be empathetic to your child. The stress, you know, travel is stressful for kids. It's fun, and it's also stressful because many of our kids crave routine. They're desperate to have some control over their environment. So, be empathetic and really help them regulate as much as possible and stay calm and have a really fun time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all of those things. So just before we hop off here, lots of parents spend so much precious time jumping from resource to resource. They're looking for answers, and they're not always sure of how to apply the strategies to their specific situation. So maybe you're catching the recording, or even you're live and you have questions about a specific situation that you're anticipating coming up with your vacation, or it could be completely not related to travel at all. But coaching is a great way to get encouragement and practical tips without having to read all the books. We've done a lot of that for you, and without having to leave your home. So we can't promise a perfect vacation. We can't promise to fix your kids, but we can give you lots of practical tools and help. We can help you gain confidence and maybe even increase your patience and give you hope for your family's future and your upcoming vacation. So for those of you who are attending live or watching the recording within the first day, we want to offer you guys a special deal. You can get $10 off a 60-minute coaching session when you schedule by Friday night, June 29th at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So don't worry if you don't feel like we've met your need after the call. We would be happy to refund you. We want this to be a helpful resource for you. So before you unlock yourselves from your bedroom or your back room or wherever you're hiding out listening to us, just head to theadoptionconnection.com/book now. And so a 60-minute coaching session is normally $97, but just for the next day for you guys, it will be $87. So you're a good mom doing good work, and remember, we're here for you. So we hope to hear from some of you soon. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks for coming.